This is an interesting question, and I don't think a lot of people consider, and I did a video about this asking about, are we sure that what we're praying is in the will of the Lord, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, HaMashiach. And we have to understand that no matter what we think should happen, how we feel should happen, especially our people who are not in the truth, they're catching feelings and saying to themselves that, black people should care about Palestine because they're being oppressed by the Israelis, just like black people have been oppressed in this country and every other place that we're scattered in today. However, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think, the listener. It doesn't matter. What matters is what the Most High thinks. Now, I was watching this video earlier today by Chris Hedges called The American War Machine. And came out today. There was interesting things brought up by this man, Dennis K. We'll just call it that because I don't know how to pronounce that name. And he mentioned the Bible. He mentioned that, Armageddon. And we know that the Europeans, the ones that rule on the earth today, they are definitely afraid of getting into another war. They know they fought World War I, they fought in World War II, and they're going to fight in World War III. Now, if we take a look at who was fighting who in World War I, we'll see here that the majority of those that joined the side of the Allies, and this is the Europeans, should be very obvious who this is, including Serbia, Russia, France, Britain, Italy, and the United States, right? And then those that were being fought against were Germany. These are more Europeans. Austria-Hungary, more Europeans. Bulgaria, more Europeans. The Ottoman Empire, a mix of Europeans and Arabs, who together formed the Central Powers. All right, so when we go to World War II, we see the principal, they say, belligerents, or what they call the Axis powers of Germany, Italy, Japan, and the Allies were France, Britain, United States, Soviet Union, and to a lesser extent, China. So we see, again, this is Europeans. This is basically has been a race war. World War I was a race war, World War II was a race war, and World War III will be a race war with the attempt to do order out of chaos for what they call a new world order, which is Europeans ruling everything, and specifically the wealthy of the Europeans ruling everybody else on the planet. That's what this is really about. So we're going to look at a couple of scriptures. We're going to look at Daniel chapter 4 and verse 17. This is King Nebuchadnezzar, but this applies to every kingdom that has ever been and every kingdom that has come along in these thousands of years until the time that we have the Messiah, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, come and set up the kingdom of heaven upon the earth. So this is Daniel chapter 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men, the lowest of men. All right, this is what is going on. If you want to understand also why there was the Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, and now the revived Roman Empire. This is why. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That is why this has happened. And an interesting fact, all of those nations we mentioned, Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, Medo-Persia, the Greeks, the Romans, and revived Roman Empire, had the Israelites in captivity. Every last one of those ruling nations had the Israelites in captivity. That is in secular history, and it is in biblical record. Now, we want to take a look at something that all of you who want to pray for Palestine, or all of you who want to pray for the Israelis, it doesn't matter. You do not know the outcome of what the Lord is going to do. None of us do. So here is wisdom. I'm going to read the first 7 verses of Isaiah chapter 30. And in my Bible, it gives a different title for this section, for the chapter 30. And it reads, Prophecy against rebels. This is what chapter 30 is about. Prophecy against rebels. Here it says, for the Good News Translation, a useless treaty with Egypt. Now today, America is spiritually Egypt and spiritual Sodom. And we know it for obvious reasons. For spiritual Egypt, because they have the Israelites in captivity, which is so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans. And Sodom because of the alphabet endorsement, support, laws, so on and so forth. So we're going to read the first 7 verses of Isaiah chapter 30. Verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And what is happening is people are trusting in the might of the hammer of the earth, which is the United States military. That is the Egypt of today. Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. Verse 5. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be an help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach, a correction. Verse 6. The burden of the beasts of the south, beasts is in reference to men, evil men, base men, into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of the young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that will not profit them. Okay, now verse 7. This is the point. This is what we have to understand. The ending of this verse is what we must understand for all those people who want to say prayers and be on one side or the other. We do not know what the Lord is going to do. So there's no sense in praying for something that we do not understand is going to be the interim decision of the Lord, because there's a lot of other things that are going to happen. This thing between the Palestinians and the Israelis is not the end all. This is, as Hamashiach Yahushua said in Matthew 24, this is the beginning of sorrows. So this is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 7. For the Egyptians, in this case America, shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried out concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. There is talking about the Israelites. The Israelites' strength is to sit still. And how do we know that? Well, let's get another precept. This is Zephaniah chapter 3. And we're going to look at verse 8. But we're going to read from verse 1 to 8. Because this also is dealing with a future nation. Verse 1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. Now, this is the only country that has over 700 or 800 bases around the world and can go carte blanche into any country it wants and invade. This is the only country of present day that can do that. But that is starting to change. Verse 2. She obeyed not the voice. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord Yahweh. She drew not near to her power. Now, this is talking about Jerusalem, the Israelites, but we can relate this to today, to the other nations, the Gentile nation of the United States of America. Verse 3. Her princes or leaders within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law, because all the Christianity, those priests, we can relate that to the Roman Catholic Church. They have priests. They have polluted the sanctuary with all of the sins that they do. You know what they do. You know what they've been accused of doing. You know the settlements they made and how those priests have been protected. All right. And what all of Christianity has done, that all Christian denominations derive from the Roman Catholic Church, is they have done violence to the law. Verse 5. The just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. You see that? Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. Here's what the Lord says. This is why you gotta just wait to see. Wait, sit and be still. Verse 6. I have cut off the nations. I've cut off the Gentiles, the heathens. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none passeth by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabitant. I said, surely thou wilt fear me. Thou wilt receive instruction in these about being obedient to the laws, statutes, and commandments in the faith of Hamashiach Yahushua. So their dwelling should not be cut off, howsoever I punished them. But they rose early and corrupted all their doings. And this is what our people are doing today. But here's what it says. Verse 8, this is it. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, for my determination is to gather the nations, the Gentiles, the heathen, that I may assemble the kingdoms, the different areas of where these people rule, to pour upon them mine indignation. What is that indignation? Even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. You see, this is why we need to be careful about what we're praying for and taking sides. We don't have, I get it, black people, so-called black people, you think that because our people were oppressed and you're oppressed today, that you can identify with the oppression of other people. But nobody has been done like unto Jerusalem or the Israelites. No one has suffered the things our people have suffered in all of history. All right, so this has been a quick little lesson and exhortation to not take one side or the other, but to wait on the Lord to see what he is going to do. If you want to pray anything, pray that the Lord Yahweh's will be done in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach.